Hi. So, what was it really like for someone like me to move from Dubai and then come all the way to Luxembourg? Was it easy finding my first gig? Were venue owners and clubs really friendly and open to give me that meeting to discuss things? And last but not the least, how were the audiences? How did they accept me as a DJ and the music I played? Well, if you're a DJ that's starting off, finally thinking of moving out of that bedroom and beginning to DJ in a professional venue or a lounge, or if you're a DJ that's moving countries, going to an absolutely new city, especially in Europe, and thinking, what is it like out there? How do I get my first gig? Maybe some of these experiences I had in Luxembourg might help you. Now, one of the most important things is having a profile in place because when you reach out to these venues, they're going to ask you, hey, do you have a social media page? Do you have an online set that we could listen to? Can you send me some videos which basically show us how you DJ and their style of music? And I think having a really strong social media presence, when I say strong, I don't mean you need to have like thousands of followers. Having something strong where you've got, enough content, you've got all of your previous banners where, you may be DJ'd, or you have, your sets which you probably have done at home. You've gone live with your sets at home and you've got some of that music there. That's great, right? Secondly, a lot of these venue owners, especially in Luxembourg, they're pretty active on social media. And that's how I started off because when I came here, I went to Instagram, I looked at a lot of clubs in Luxembourg, and I reached out to them. I'm like, hey, I'm here. My name is DJ Gavin. I'd like to come in and meet with you guys because I'd like to see if there's an opportunity for me to come and DJ at your places. And I think that really helps. And I think what can really add a little more value to your profiles is probably thinking of adding like a resume as well, right? Because sometimes you may be speaking to the restaurant manager or, you know, somebody who's in junior management or mid management, and he might want to take your profile to the owners of the venue, right? And how fantastic would it be to say, hey, this is the profile of the person who's, planning to come and DJ with us, and here is his social media details, and here is the stuff that you can listen to because that's the music that he plays. So I think at least if you don't have a CV, but at least try to have like a social media presence so you can reach out and have a conversation, right? Um, for me, when I came here, I reached out to almost about 15, 20 different venues. And to my surprise, in the first month, I had two of the venues who actually responded to me. The first one was a very popular chain of pubs here called Shamrock. People of Luxembourg, you obviously know what Shamrock is, but they have presences all across Europe, and I was quite excited to actually receive that response from them. And when I went ahead and met them, I asked them, okay, what made you really, eventually meet me? Of course, that was at the end of our conversation. And they said, hey, when we looked at your profile, and some of it had a lot of information about Dubai. This is DJ Gavin Dubai. So for us, we wanted to see what you could bring unique to the table, right? And being part of Dubai, I was fortunate to learn about Arabic culture, Arabic music. So I had experience DJing with some of the Arabic popular tracks. And my second niche, of course, because I'm Indian and I've done a lot of these gigs in India and in Dubai, I knew Bollywood and I knew how, to play Bollywood really well. So this kind of also takes me into some of the discussions I've had with people locally because when I met with people here, I was curious to understand what the culture in Luxembourg is like. And people said the Luxembourgers are one of the friendliest people you know. And I'm talking about even the expats that live here because it's just the vibe of the country. Everyone's friendly, everyone's warm, everyone's welcoming. And the one thing that Luxembourgers like is something new. You come up with something new, even if it's not music, but if it's a new business idea, it's a new restaurant, something people have never tried before, people here will always show up for the first or second time to be able to experience what different you have, right? And that's basically your chance to shine, your chance to show them what you can bring to the table. So that was my first experience. Um, and the second gig which I had was at Mirador. And there I was asked to basically perform on my second niche, which is the Bollywood music. So with Bollywood, uh, with the size of country like Luxembourg, where you barely have roughly about 700,000 people here, and majority of the expat crowd, right? And a lot of the population here is from Portugal, and in addition to the obvious genres that DJs play here, which is techno, house, and some commercial, people here love reggaeton music, right? So that being said, with Indians, you barely had like, I think the last I checked at that point, there was like one Bollywood party happening once in every 3 months, or I think even 6 months. So for me to go ahead and introduce a second wave or a second Diwali party that year was kind of surprising to both people and me. Why me? Because I was not sure. And I was surprised that there were so many Indians that actually were in Luxembourg, right? So the place was actually packed. And to me, that was a really good, one of the first experience I had. What is it like DJing at Shamrock? Well, that was my real Luxembourg audience experience, right? Because I had a 5 hour set at Shamrock, and every hour I actually got different audiences walk in because Shamrock is located in a place called Reeves the Clausen. People in Luxembourg pretty well know what that area is, but that's basically a whole line or a whole lane where you've got like 10 or 12 clubs where people can just keep hopping in and walking in. So you obviously have got different audiences that walk in. And that night, believe me, I had all kinds of people, different demographics, different ages, and I started the night with playing deep house. I moved to then some fast-paced house music, eventually moved to like the top commercial tracks, then went ahead and played some retro music, and eventually ended the night with some banging reggaeton Latino tracks, right? So I think I was kind of fortunate to have one of the first couple of great experiences, but I think you can actually get there. And of course, right, it's not always fantastic like this. Of course, you've got places where you may end up going ahead and have an opportunity to DJ, but they could be really quiet venues where you just expected to have some like lounge music. You may have a small audience. It doesn't matter. As long as you're able to go out there, showcase your music, and at least have a few people come up there, appreciate your music, move to your music, that's a win for you, right? That should not matter. I mean, I'd like to share with you one of the videos that I actually had, but people in Luxembourg can be pretty energetic. If you look at this video, this was a popular track called Pepas from Faruko. And if you're anywhere in Europe or Spanish, you play this track, you're golden. It's like for Indians, you play Sukhbir's Ishq Tadpave, and you have the audience on the floor. That's the song you'd want to play here. And every time I've played this song here in Luxembourg, people go crazy dancing on this track. Um, that being said, I hope these few tips helped you out in terms of like what the expectation is to be here. Of course, one important tip I'd like to mention, and I'm sure there's a question you have in your mind, is do venues expect you to come with your own controller or your own sort of equipment, or do they provide them on your own? Because in Dubai, when I was there, most clubs came and had their own CDJs, the Pioneer CDJs available. But to my surprise, here in Luxembourg, a lot of the smaller venues didn't have that equipment, right? Of course, they had their audio connected to their Spotify accounts or any online audios or audio accounts that they had. But a lot of DJs are expected to come with their own controllers in. Now, for me, I've always had my Pioneer DJ SZ. It's like, a really monster DJ controller. I've had this for like about 7 years. And a lot of questions I get sometimes from, people who I play with is, hey, do you think it's time to upgrade? Do you think I should get something new? And my mental model there is, should I or should I not? And to me, as long as the controller is functioning well, as long as the hardware is functioning well, and if there's a software, like for example, Serato, that actually you can use to go ahead and DJ, you don't really need to change the hardware unless something is really wrong with it, because Serato provides you with some fantastic software which you can keep upgrading and be able to provide that, fantastic experience, create playlists. And of course, I use Serato because I prefer it. Of course, you've got other universal softwares like Recordbox, etc., which is pretty good to be able to do that. But maybe if you're somebody who's starting and who needs something a little more convenient, especially in today's day and age where now you've got Bluetooth controllers in place which you can connect to the speaker I have in my back, which is the things like the party box, the JBL party box. Go with something small so it's convenient for you to go in there, but make sure at least it's got the the output, at least the RCA output, so XLR outputs, because when you reach the venue, you need something compatible so you can connect to the systems or the decks of these clubs. That being said, one last tip I want to share with you, something I experienced is I had one club tell me that they have their own equipment and you cannot bring your stuff with you, which means you need to be also familiar with DJing on the big equipment, to at least have softwares like Serato and know the connectivity to be able to connect to those decks. I've actually come across DJs who are learning it and said, hey, I don't think I can play on those because I'm so used to playing with my controller. And that is a big no-no for me. So as much as you can, try to learn the basics, learn exactly what needs to, sort of the skill set you need to play onto any controller, and then start venturing out and start beating people, because that's going to be sort of a deal breaker if you turn up and say, hey, I'm going to DJ, and then you say, hey, but I can't DJ on these, then he'd probably have doubts of ever calling you back to those venues, right? So that was just something I had experienced. Of course, I know how to play on the CDJ, so it was not a big deal for me, but just thought I'd share this with you so it might be able to be, it might be helpful to you, right? So hope you enjoyed this one. And of course, if you're a DJ that's been in my situation, if you're a DJ in Luxembourg and if you've got something to share, please put it in the comment section. It'll be great for me to learn, as well as for people who are watching this video to be able to go through and get some more tips. So all the best. I hope if you're a DJ watching me, or if you're an aspiring DJ who's wanting to go ahead and do something in the DJing industry, I wish you all the very best. And yeah, good luck. Hope you get loads and loads of gigs, and be making one of these videos one day and giving your tips to somebody who's willing to learn. All right. So have a great one. Stay healthy and look forward to meeting you in the next video. Take care.